Rwanda, we never saw ourselves as an island, as a country that has had its own problems and maybe trying to find solutions, and it ends there. We are part of a much bigger family, which is our continent. Rwanda is part of this African continent, and it's not an issue of saying, you know, we can make a choice of this or that. It is what it is. It's a fact. So we have to deal with this reality that we are part of the East African region and much wider the continent as it is now 1.2 billion people, almost the same size as India's. So and in fact, we also see it that if we don't address our problems while we connect with others who have their own problems they have to deal with, but also in that connecting, in that sharing of what we have to deal with, we enhance our capacity because there are also problems that cut across. I mean, it's just an obvious fact to say that, for example, if you take Rwanda, you'll find, if you go even deeper into the history, many people of Rwandan heritage are in Rwanda, but are in other parts, whether you want to look at it in terms of the colonial period, the drawing of borders, and so on and so forth. So the best way to reconnect and tap into this relevance of people getting back together is not by doing away with the borders as they were drawn, whatever injustice you may call it, but through social, economic, political integration, working together, then you make these divides actually irrelevant. And people start working together, and when they work together, then the common problems that affect all of us will be addressed more easily than, well, we are not where we want to be yet, not even maybe close, but we are really on the journey to that point where Africa can cooperate. East, West, North, South, Central can keep working together and making this continent what it should be. There are still many who wonder or don't even fully believe or don't know that the country has changed. The moment you mention Rwanda, there are those who still think it is 94 or the situation after that. But even at this moment, we still have that. Or, it's very interesting, there are those who have even been here, who have seen what is here, or can even compare what is now and what was in the past. And they still say, is this real? Isn't there something underneath? You know, there is always that. There is always, you know, drawing, you know, being drawn to the negative. And so, explaining your point of Zimbabwe, where I'm using my own example, we know that that is there. So don't be discouraged by it. Just be educated by it. And the first point you get educated about is, you know, you need to work hard to change the perception. You can't bribe your way through it. You can't just sweet talk, some people and things, and even if they say, okay, we agree with you, and you think things will be fine. No. You keep doing your best. You keep, if it is, of course, countries are governed the way you govern, the different institutions, the way they operate, the way the people of your own country feel about what is happening, will always come out. And before you even convince anybody from outside, so that they don't have wrong perception about you, convince your own people. Make sure they are with you in saying, no, look, whatever you are saying, we feel there is a change. So concentrate there. Concentrate on making sure that your people are involved, they are benefiting, they can themselves push back on this story of the wrong perception. But that means also that it is going to be built on tangible things. Yes. If the country is hungry, if people have nothing to eat, they will tell people that they have nothing to eat. and so when the outsiders are saying it, don't go against them and say, no, why are you saying that my country is starving? When actually people are starving, they are starving. So, and they have, but if you tell me, the outside say, no, the country, the people of Rwanda are actually starving, when the people of Rwanda are saying, no, we are not starving, I won't even have any fight with you saying that the country is starving. I'll just ignore you and keep. Eventually, you will get tired of telling wrong stories about me, because my people will be there to disprove you. And it is what matters anyway. Yes. Now, for diaspora, let me say, for us, two kinds of diaspora. There are those, particularly Rwandan diaspora, people who have lived out and made their lives there and so on and so forth. So we have always reached out to them. We want them to be part of the rebuilding process here in their own country, in our country. So we give them priority and attention. But there are even, in fact, other Africans who are out there in diaspora of different countries in our continent, whom we say, if you ever want a place you can come and work and belong to, you are welcome. That always happens. In fact, we have something we call Rwanda Day. We've been to many countries in Europe. We've been to the US, Canada, we've been to China, we've been to, well, there's a big community of Rwandans. When we invite Rwandans to come and to have a discussion, what they think they could do for the country, what we could do for them or with them, wherever they are. I have seen that over time, a number of Africans from other countries have actually come and participated, which for us is a very good thing. And from different countries on our continent, they come and participate in this Rwanda Day. So, in fact, it was interesting. So many of them, I remember there is a lady who showed up. I think she's from Mali or Burkina Faso. I think she was from Mali. I was always surprised, and when they came to this time for questions, she should always be having a question to ask. And every time I found she's the other lady who was in another one that day in a different place, and she told us she's proud to be Malian, but for the story of Rwanda, which she has connected with. She's very proud to associate with Rwanda. In fact, later on, she asked for citizenship, and we have offered her that citizenship. But that is just to say we have even welcomed the other Africans part of us. And, in fact, that's how we even waived the visas for all Africans. They come here freely, and we only insist that they should be law-abiding Africans. That's all. If you are law-abiding, you are with us anytime. I don't happen to be the only one in anything. It's always going to be with others, with the people. It's an open secret because when you're with others, it's an open secret. But the thinking should be that when you think or you operate and knowing that you are not alone or you are not the only one, but rather whatever you get will be on the basis of your effort and other people's effort put together. I think that becomes the answer. So, in fact, you see, for whatever you may say of the progress we have made, I don't think we have even made enough progress. That is my other point. I don't think it has ever been enough, or it is now. We just need to keep going and keep doing more and better. And it's almost a daily thing. We shouldn't feel there's a point where we feel we've reached, we've arrived and let's relax. That's the whole thing. And the more people that join that direction, that path, the better for everyone. So that is the best way to do it. Keep going. Even when you are doing well, be worried of something. Yes. Don't ever feel all is well and that's it. No, all is well, but always be worried about something. Be worried that you haven't done enough, or be worried that what you have done well can slide back. So there's always something to do all the time. Keep going. At least that is the sort of philosophy that I embrace, and I know others who should be doing the same. I didn't get the question very well. You said leaving is something to somebody else? Sorry?
Leaving the office to someone else.
Yeah, there are many who want it. So they have got to work hard to get it. And for me, there are two things. There is my personal choice or decision to make. But that is not going to be the only thing people will consider or that I have to bear in mind. The other is also what the system that we operate in, of course, the system of people, the people having to decide. Sometimes it has become difficult it even becomes a sort of monotony, or another time people looking for excuses when they say, oh, the people. Even when you do your own thing, you still claim you are doing it for the people, or that the people have asked you this, when actually you are the one asking them this. It happens. But I want to say it doesn't happen to everyone or in every case. So that means the situation will have to explain it, like in our case. So my personal view, maybe you were here or you have followed what happened this last time. Actually, my view was not to continue. Again, for those who wish to be honest, it's an open secret. Whether it was in my party, which I interacted with and told them my view of what should happen next. Their view was completely on one side, my view was on the other side. So we reconciled that, and I agreed to listen to them. And I even said, but keep thinking about things differently. Next time, don't come up with the same argument. Maybe try to be, I have said this. So my position is, so then what you've said, therefore, is, I think, can be explained just in that context. But also don't forget that even if one may say, because I have even told the people, I have seen a book, there's a book, something accidental president or something. He's accidental president as well. So I think I might be fitting into that. I might be one of those. But when I am there, and by the being accidental president, if I may repeat that or use that, does not mean that I wasn't something else. I was, before that, before I became president, I was a person who fought, and I mean fought. It's not the fighting I'm talking about is the real fight. You don't know it has many versions, but I did the real one, where every day you are not sure of surviving to the next day. So it is that. So if anybody ever thinks that you go into that situation just as an adventure or as a hobby or something, then you are terribly mistaken. It means I also have a sense of responsibility to what I'm doing, of the outcomes, and how I associate with all that. So I wasn't this as just an adventure, my brother. And then you can say, prove it. Yes, prove it is. I don't think when we were discussing, we were talking about a situation where we've been doing so badly in rebuilding the country, in representing these values that everyone talks about. In now these other all kinds of different fights that we can talk about, different from the other one. And we do it with a sense of that responsibility and with a sense that we are not the only ones. who can do it. Just going back to the same story, the accidental president. In the fight, I could have lost life like many others lost their lives. So I wasn't even fighting to be president, not at all. In fact, if the story had been that of fighting to be president, I wouldn't have participated. Yes, my story was about fighting to have a country that I didn't have, to contribute with others to making the change that needed to happen in our country.